It's slower though because you're locked in the animation while not auto
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
True.
you
True.
don't want to be knocking
Right.
up your camps. You want to try and like miss your QE combos. You only do it to actually like move
You
between
yeah
camps.
you EQ combos generally, not QE.
Yeah, I don't play Jarvan enough, or I don't play Jarvan at all. So there you go.
Yeah, all good.
Yo, why not? In this situation, if you're not playing Kindred and you don't want the mark, do you ever go contest bot scuttle?
Depends on priors. I have my top camps up now, and I cleared it down. So I have this, and then after this, I have my my wolves. But what's more important is that like what mark timings are spawning. So top marks down. So he's gonna go and do his Gromp that's respawning. His chickens are respawning in like 30 seconds, and his chickens are the next mark. So I have 2 marks right now, and if I can evade his chickens are gonna instantly mark when they spawn. So I can just take this and then just Chad in his jungle here and take the mark again. I have hard top prior because my top lane is just shitting on his lane.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So I can just play for the mark. But yeah, if I'm not playing Kindred, is what you're saying, like, yeah, I can do. I have a lot of options then.
Yeah, I was just wondering like if it's not Kindred specific.
So I can like E out. He gets to live here. I'm pretty sure. I can't really try and chat him here, which sucks because I really want this. I really want this mark. See, I told you it's gonna mark on spawn.
Yeah, that mark tracking is like overpowered.
I can live here. He's gonna Jarvan's gonna come and EQ me here though. But I can still live. There you go. I live now. Oh, Fizz is actually 6. I died of his ulti. I got a flash. Never mind, that slow's insane.
Well, they blow everything on you.
Yeah, I mean, Varus roamed to fucking chickens. That's so funny. Chickens hadn't even marked, by the way. Like, Varus moving there is just fucking whack. Yumi's solo laning bot lane while Varus moves there. That's quite something.
Yeah, that's strange. What is going on?
Varus is a fucking psycho.
Here's something I do a lot. Okay, I like to go defensive boots over.
Oh, he's just trolling here because he's like he obviously hates his Yumi or something. That's why he's just running top lane. This game is probably gonna get FF'd or something.
Dang, that's sad. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, defensive boots are really good. I agree, but like it just depends. Here, I'm just gonna double dagger. I can turn the dagger into an item like on the second item as well. Just because dagger here is better than longsword. I had like 600 gold, so I couldn't afford to go anything else. Apart from this, which is coming up soon. It's gonna be my mark as well. It's either gonna be this marking or this marking, depends which spawns first. So I'm just gonna walk here. And Chad this. Looks like it's not spawning for us. Spawning in 30 seconds. I can go here and we can kill this Fizz. I think it still has E though.
Yeah, if I could figure out how to track my marks better, my games would just go so much faster because I'd be like 8 marks so quickly into the game.
And then you can start eating the objectives.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like the timers, or not the timers, but the algorithm, right?
Oh my god.
Man, they really want you dead.
He's not 6.
Yeah, but this game is just a monkey game. Yeah, Trend isn't 6, but like, it's fucking whack. I've marked Trend here, so honestly I can just come to lane and dive him. That's what Walk wants me to do. I want Walk ulti for it though.
4 marks at 7 minutes is such a great open, though. Oh my god.
Yeah, of course, it's very, very good.
It's an amazing open.
This guy wants to push the wave. He's pushing the wave too fast because now the wave's gonna crash and he might hit Slick beforehand. He's gonna hit Slick with like 3 or 4 minions.
Yeah, you need to kill him before he.
Luckily, it's hitting the big one right now. I mean, I'm gonna tank here. I think. Oh, never mind. Thank God I didn't tank. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a bit odd. He should have gone a lot earlier than he did.
What below is this, by the way?
D1 Masters. Yeah, just learning from the experience, yeah. This guy should still die. The only problem is, like, we don't know where the mid is. If this can move.
This is scary.
This is the champion's disgustingly strong.
Yeah, right after the buff they gave him, I don't know why they did the way they did, because like the earlier buff thoughts like they had, like taking the power out of the R to give it to like his other abilities was actually a good idea.
No, it wasn't.
I think so.
I honestly like the changes.
Hasn't been able to be a thing for a long time, and it was 10 auto attacks versus the R damage numbers.
Well, yeah, that's why I said, because the thing is that
I mean they buffed his passive insanely. What? So they buffed the whole.
The passive was a really nice buff, yeah. but the damage loss was 10 autos.
Well, yeah, I know. That's why I
But you're
said
playing
that.
Fizz. You're not like what? It's like saying it's like judging like I mean, as Syndra, it's like saying like the changes of R damage nerfs on Syndra are terrible. Like that's like 8 Syndra auto attacks. You're not like obviously Fizz does damage on hit with his W. I think the changes were good. I think the changes actually made him stronger, and
the
most
thing-
Fizz players that I talked to agreed. Like the Fizz
Yeah.
but maybe like low elo is just different.
Thursday.
Yeah, what's up?
'cause-
Even across
Remember,
Diamond, he
like,
still
the
lost
guy's
like a
hole?
3% win rate. He lost like a 3% rate across all elos.
Yeah, because the thing about
Yeah, I mean that,
Fizz,
he also has, you have to look at the increased play rate as well and how that affects it.
the
It already
thing about
happened.
Fizz is that his early game really is not that great until he unlocks his R, basically, at this point, because his mana cost on his E is really high, so he doesn't really have that much power in the early game.
Yeah, I mean,
And if he's
I just disagree. They always go C-pot. They always go C-pot. It's insane. They trade aggressively. It's just like it's
Yeah.
just patience. The playstyle is patience. It's a completely different champion when you have like a good player playing it and a bad player playing it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
completely
that's totally yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I watch a lot of Quantum. I used to watch a lot of Quantum when he used to play it, but he doesn't play it anymore, really, as much anyways.
different. Yeah, he's a good ASO player. But I can play for a remark on the Krugs here as well. It just depends on when he takes wolves and if I can Chad Krugs off. But this game is just pretty over. I don't even need to think really, because the map state is just so stupid. I haven't been marking.
Yeah. Hey, honestly, could you like, as you're playing through this, could you talk a little bit just about your mindset in terms of pathing towards your marks?
That
'Cause
is,
I think that's
yeah,
one of the more complex elements when you're playing.
That's usually what I do. It's just we got a bit off track with like talking about fizz buffs and shit. But yeah, that is usually what I do. And I was talking about it earlier. Like, I could have left this camp up and played for the remark. That's probably what I should have done, considering that he's taken the wolves mark and this is the only camp on the entire map that can mark. Other than that, so it was a mistake taking that camp like that. Go look for chickens and then look to base. Could honestly just dive top lane. This game is just over though. Like, I have my I'm probably just gonna go Gale Force just because of Fizz ulti. Can just dodge the Fizz R this way.
Do you ever go shield bow instead of Kraken?
I've gone Shield like once or twice this year. There was like a very specific game that it was okay in. You know, it doesn't like your power on one item is really low, but it still scales fine. And it can be really strong versus like heavy assassins. But not really. I wouldn't recommend it.
What's
Bit
your
more
thought
niche.
process going Gale Force this game? I feel like every time I go Gale Force, I just get steamrolled because of a lack of damage.
It depends
Yeah.
on how you're using it. That's usually what makes the difference. At least as
Yes, I
far
mean,
as I can tell.
the reason I'm looking at it this game is like I can dodge Jarvan EQ consistently. Like obviously I have my cube, I can dodge Jarvan EQ consistently. Varus ulti, like Tryndamere is gonna be like eating on top of me. Fizz ulti, like all of this allows me to like space a lot better. So it's definitely like an aggressive option. But yeah, that's kind of the use of it. I'm gonna lack like damage on first item. I'm not gonna have the Kraken Slayer. I'm gonna have more burst though. Like right here, I can chill. If this Fizz all into solution, he dies. Cool. This Fizz dies here, even if he's out. That's why I'm hovering. I guess I'm gonna keep running because this is gonna die in 2 hits.
Yeah, Gale Force is such a great option. I actually really like Gale Force. It's not great for like tankier team comps unless it's like a lot of skill shot champions. So when it's a lot of skill shot champions, that's great. But
I mean, even then against
Usually
tankier team comps, I generally don't go Gale Force purely because like if you get hit by a skill shot in a tankier team comp, like you've made a mistake because generally tanks are much slower, much less aggressive skill shots, and I usually I have ulti anyway, so.
yeah, it's usually better to just get Kraken because you can just shred through them.
This is a shit situation because Streamer's gonna go on me here.
Yeah, I
Turned
almost always
around
go
there.
Kraken.
He has ulti still.
Their team is just kind of imploding here.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The game was just over. This is gonna mark, or Krog's gonna mark. It just depends on it's pure RNG because I took this mark, so it can be on both of them. I can just honestly just take this really fast and then just go to Krugs and guarantees the mark. Yeah, see it marked Krugs. It was just a 50-50 chance. Generally speaking here, I should just reset, but in this kind of game state, it doesn't really matter.
I can't
I'll just
tell
run
you
from
how
Mark.
many. I can't tell you how many times in my games where my teammates will take the marks from the enemy camps, and I'm just like, why? Because I'm trying to get them. So sad.
Probably just get stolen by Jarvan. Smite, but I'm not too fast. I'm playing for Dragon here. It's my next mark. I have 8 marks now, so it's only on like major objectives.
Yep.
Item-wise here, I can honestly build anything, man. It doesn't make a difference. This is just like the strongest buy in general. It's not the strongest, like, it's not the strongest on completion, but like buy power right now, this would be the strongest for sure. Could also just go towards like,
What would be
it
the
just doesn't matter.
what? Okay, this is something. What would be like? What's good second item options? Because usually I go Gale or not Gale Force. I usually go Collector
Yeah, I mean,
or
Zeal
LDR.
into IE is really strong. LDR can be good against tankier comps. Collector has a lot of like buy power in like the components, but generally upon completion it's like not as good as the other options.
There.
I think Storm Razor is hella dog shit. I think Rapid Fire Cannon's also pretty bad. Runans is generally very consistent. This guy still should have no. This guy shouldn't have ulti here. This guy just dies.
The seal items that I know are good. It's like Runon's in very situational situations, and
yeah,
then usually Phantom Dancer. Phantom Dancer is just like the best seal item option. Like
It definitely
overall.
feels the. Yeah, I'd say like PD definitely feels one of the nicest feeling items for sure.
I mean, it's like Collector, but a Zeal item. It's a ball of stats that's just fantastic in every single way. Plus, it gives you the.
It's just a Zeal. It's a Zeal item that just gives AD as well. It gives Zeal item that gives AD. The stacking move speed, attack speed is really nice on the champion.
Yeah,
yeah.
especially when if you get into a situation with your R, you usually have the 40% attack speed up too, so that's also nice.
Yeah, but your DPS doesn't matter if you've ulted because they're not gonna die.
Yeah,
anyway.
you're just aiming to one shot after the ult ends, or to get out of the situation. But still,
very impressive gameplay from the Varus.
well, he's trying. You gotta give him something for that.
He's not trying. He's quite literally intentionally leading.
I know. I was saying that as a joke. But yes.
What key do you have attack move on?
A. So I'm just clicking like A and then clicking every time.
Is there a problem to Q, A, Q, A? Like, is that weird for anyone else?
Oh, it's for everyone else? I'm not sure. You should get into the habit of it. Like right here, I press Q and then I tap A. My fourth finger, which is like the ring finger, it's always like on A, and then it goes up to Q, and then I can go back to A. So I just constantly like kicking A.
I want to say, what games do you actually like usually go like Thunder? I'm curious.
Games where they have like a excessive front line where they can still like one shot me. So like the game before was an example of it. I think it's a lot weaker now than it used to be. So in general, it's just like in general, it's just like a preference thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it allows you to frontline a lot more, like the other items do. So you can, if you just look at the VOD. Honestly speaking, like watch the Kindred VOD that I sent, and you'll get a lot out of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Oh, it's fun learning so much about Kindred. I'm gonna have to try the Zeal options for second items. I don't know if I mean Runon's is okay, I think, but like I don't think I would go second with it all the time because I think I need the dueling power.
If you're gonna go Runans at all, you go Runans second. You don't go Runans any other time.
Yeah. No, I know that. I don't go Runans any other. I don't go Runans usually at all. But it's mostly because I play in gold, so having the dueling power is usually better because...
Cringe! I don't want to get fucking masters on this account, man! Like, I CBA, dude. I actually CBA. Fuck, I'm gonna have to, like... I can't even demote. It takes way too many losses to demote. Awesome, man. This guy's spamming Xi Jinping free Tibet.
Oh, God!
Yeah, he's spamming all the Chinese, like... Oh no, man. Yeah, that was a fucking terrible game.
It was sad.
Oh yeah, but so yeah, to answer Ghastly, I think you might have asked it earlier, but yeah, for checking attack range, I don't use attack move click, so I don't use a binding that just immediately makes me attack move. I just A and then I click. So if I want to like attack move, I can just A and then left click on like the ground that attack moves. But yeah, in general, this is how I feel more comfortable playing.
I see a lot of players do that with the A left click.
Yeah, it's common.
Usually I have my attack move on shift, like shift right click.
Yeah, there's lots of different options for sure. Does anyone have any like general questions about your games recently, about different items or different runes, etc.? Because I might hop into some more
Yeah.
views.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can, man. I can't hear you anymore.
Now we can't. What the
So basically, I'm just wondering about like rune optimization on Kindred, and the different
awesome.
options and why you would go one thing over the other and whatnot.
Yep, cool. So talking about Kindred, you have like a few different pages. So first of all, for not mythics, for keystones, you only have like really two main options, which is like very easy enough. It's just either Conqueror or PTA. So Conqueror obviously favors like sustained fights or like longer fights where you're able to stack the Conqueror stack, so you have the increased AD, the small amount of healing, which is nice. You know, honestly speaking, in general, people kind of kind of prioritize or like think about the healing on Conqueror as the reason it's strong. When in reality, it's just like when it gets stacked, your damage just increases because your AD increases, and that's kind of the benefit from it. It's just you're much stronger. So like, you know, level 3 or 4, you can be getting like 20 plus AD, you know, from it, which is really nice because that's like, you know, 2 longswords. Whereas PTA is like if you're not going to be able to get kind of Conqueror stacking, or you want this kind of stronger early game. So think versus like squishier champions in general, where you feel like it's going to have more of an impact. Next, you have like Triumph versus Overheal versus POM. Presence of Mind is pretty useless on the champion. You're going to be jungling. You don't really have much mana issues anyway. So POM is kind of pointless. Triumph Overheal. Triumph is just what's done the most consistently. It's very strong. It has good synergy with your ultimate. Because like, after you get a kill, you can start healing. Overheal is more taken on like very certain ADC setups, as opposed to really like champions like Kindred. The Overheal shield as well isn't that important because you have your ulti anyway. So having the extra 100 health effectively from that isn't really relevant. Whereas having like the Triumph in clutch situations where you don't have ulti is much nicer. And then next as well is what's up?
No, I'm sorry. I got a quick. Why? Because you said press the attack or conquer. What about lethal tempo? You're not a fan?
No, not really, man. Not much. Like lethal tempo was mainly taken on champions that have like on hits or like specific kind of synergies with it. So that's champions like Jinx, who can use lethal tempo because she has like, you know, her rocket AoE is super nice to have like lethal tempo with. It has champions like Cogmore that have like on hits, but even lots of them have like go Halo Blades, whereas Kindred doesn't really have that as an option. It's not really in her like play pattern to stand still and just fire attacks or, you know, have insane attack speed. I used to take lethal tempo Kindred for fun because it is just really fun because you just attack really fast. I can actually find a really quick clip. Give me a second.
That's weird though. Why would Jinx run lethal tempo? Doesn't she have that like built into her passive or whatever?
Kind of. She has attack speed built into her passive, but also like generally speaking, if you have that attack speed built up with your Q or with your rockets, you're gonna be like overcapping on your attack speed anyway. So it's actually even better to go lethal tempo because it means your passive can then overcap your attack speed.
Man, that's smart.
Yeah,
I've been
lethal
running
tempo
lethal
already
tempo in like
goes
300
like,
games.
Vice nature, right?
So say that again, sorry.
It's just like a little overlap, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, it's just DPS. Like Conqueror offers you nothing. Press the attack offers you nothing. People used to run Conqueror, but it's a lot worse. This is an old clip of me running like max attack speed in Kindred and like practicing kiting with lethal tempo. Just want a little mechanics demonstration. This was me a little bit ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was attack moving with like 3.9 attack speed or something.
Yeah, you
I
don't
don't even know if I could. I don't even know if I can do this anymore.
He's hacking, bro. What the fuck is going on?
I don't even think I can't even do this anymore. I'm pretty sure.
I think Volibear gets faster than that.
I mean, it kind of
mean-
looks hard to do, but I don't know. That
Yo,
Crap.
that looks like a machine gun going on there. Jesus Christ.
yo, why
Yeah,
not? Have you
it's-
seen Twitch IRL? That looks like his kind of. What the fuck?
Oh, Red IRL. Yeah.
Yeah, right
There's
IRL.
some there's some super funny like kiting videos because there's like a actually I'm not gonna say the name of the script, but like there's a lot of memes with like the specific script, like it's a hacking thing for like attack move, and there's like a lot of funny montages
Some
made with it.
Kog'Maw, right?
Oh yeah, there's Cogmore, Twitch, like Tristana, like it's got some really hilarious stuff. But anyway, back to Kindred Runes. That's what we're looking at. Because I'm just starting the recording right now for bootcamp. So we were talking about kind of Kindred Rune optimization in general. So we were talking about like Conqueror, Press the Attack being kind of the main two options here. PRM isn't really taken on Kindred ever compared to like Triumph Overheal. Triumph is generally your best friend because Overheal, like the temp health doesn't make a difference because you've got your ulti. Then you have like Alacrity, Tenacity, and Bloodline. So Bloodline kind of used to be around a bunch, but it kind of fell out of popularity. It takes like way too long to stack, and when you have like the lifesteal, it doesn't even matter that much on Kindred in comparison to like Alacrity or Tenacity. So honestly, don't be afraid to run Tenacity. I run it in a lot of my Kindred games. It's kind of a luxury to be able to run Alacrity. Tenacity is really nice because if you get CC'd, you can't ultimate. So running Tenacity is really nice because if you're versing like a Galio or like Leona and they're going to go on you, they're going to like try and stun lock you, you're going to be able to get an ulti off before you die. So Tenacity is a really strong option, but then Alacrity otherwise. Bloodline again, it's like I said before, it's preference, but it takes a long time to stack in comparison. It has like twice as many stacks as the other options. And then honestly, in the last tree, you can take any of them. So last stand is good synergy because of your ultimate, obviously. You ulti, you're on like lower health and you do more damage. It's also really good for like, you know, clutch situations. Cut down is just disgustingly strong on champions that have like low base health. They don't really build HP items to champs like Kindred because you're going to have a lot better like health difference between you guys. It's gonna be a big health difference, so you're gonna get like the maximum benefits of cut down. Then you have coup de grace, which is kind of synergizes with your E execute of like when they're low health, you can get easier kills. So all three are fine, but definitely like look to run. Like I run all three of them in different games. So if I'm going like the crit chance Kindred build, let's say, and I'm versing like some kind of medium tanks, like some bruisers, etc., cut down can be really strong. Or if I'm versing like hard tank, cut down strong. If I'm versing like kind of the bruisers, etc., like last stand can be good. If I'm versing like only squishies, then like coup de grace has a lot of value. Because honestly, like damage wise, how it works is that cut down is going to be doing the highest damage. If you cut down does the highest damage, if the kind of requirements are met, and then last stand does like the second most damage if the requirements are met, and coup de grace is like the most consistent because it's easy enough to get them low health, but it does the least amount of damage in comparison. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. So then secondaries, honestly, there have been times where like I've ran every single one of them. Domination, your options are either like Sudden Impact plus... I mean, if you're running Domination secondary, you should always run one of the Hunters. Like that's kind of the whole point of running it secondary. In general, I think Domination is pretty bad in solo queue. Like in higher elos, it's less consistent to get these. But people seem to like... I mean, it's pretty consistent in lower elos. So if you're running a Domination tree, you should always be running one of the Hunters. So you shouldn't be like doing, you know, these top two rows. Pretty bad. Hunters, Ravenous Hunter or Relentless Hunter, it's kind of preference. I used to like Ravenous Hunter like a lot before the nerfs, but Relentless Hunter is kind of more and more consistent for me. Then Sudden Impact is an option, so is Eyeball Collection, and so is Zombie Ward. Again, it's just preference. Generally speaking, I say like something like this would be pretty standard for like a rune page. If you're looking for like Domination, again, you can run Ravenous Hunter or Sudden Impact. Kind of preference again. Sorcery, I almost never run this tree secondary. I almost hate it on like nearly every champion. But if you're going to have to run it, then like Nimbus Waterwalking would be kind of the option you'd look at. Or I guess if you're playing like Turbo low elo and you're only getting like super long games, then I can see Gathering Storm having value as well. But in general, I'd advise against going Sorcery. Resolve, I think it's very strong in hard matchups. It's matchups where you feel like it's going to be hard to like even survive early game. You know, you're going to be getting attacked early. I feel like it has a lot of strong points. Because the thing with Kindred is she scales very well. So if you can get to that mid to late game kind of stage or in a good position, you don't really need any runes for damage. You know, you're already in a strong position. So what can help with this is like bone plating versus champs like Kha'Zix. That game, for instance, if I was versing like a Kha'Zix Fizz instead of a Jarvan Fizz, I would definitely go bone plating. And even if I'm versing like that game and playing a Jarvan Fizz, honestly, Domination secondary is still fine. Oh, Resolve, sorry, not Domination. Resolve secondary is still fine. So bone plating is what you run here. The top tree doesn't really offer anything to you guys. So it's either one of these three here. So let's say you feel like the game's going to go a bit longer, overgrowth can be valuable. If they have a lot of CC, flinching is very, very strong. And if you kind of just don't have anything else to run, or you have like an enchanter support, Revitalize is very good, because the Revitalize obviously works on heals and shields you cast or receive. So it's really good, because it means Enchanter's going to be healing you or shielding you for more. In addition, that makes your like W minorly better, but like it's just more of a luxury option. But things to keep in mind is like you don't want to run Overgrowth and Cut Down together, a kind of anti-synergy there. That's kind of things to look at. You can run Tenacity and Unflinching to be like insanely CC immune without even having to buy Merc Treads. So let's say I was versing like 3 or 4 AD champions, and I was versing a Leona. Potentially, like I'd run this Panna page, because this is what's going to allow me to not have to buy Merc Treads but still have high tenacity. So I can get like 40%, 50% tenacity just in these runes alone without having to buy Merc Treads, because I don't want to buy Merc Treads because I'm versing like high AD. So it seems like a lost value. So I can run tenacity and runes. And then lastly, we have Inspiration, which is the tree of efficiency. You have kind of 3 runes that you can choose between. You just choose 2 between these 3. You have Free Boots, you have Futures Market, and you have Cosmic Insight. So Cosmic Insight's kind of ruled jungle efficiency within Inspiration Tree in the past like few months, or honestly for like a long time, even like 2 years even. So I'd say almost always on Cosmic Insight, and then you can choose between Futures Market Cosmic or Boots Cosmic. It depends on if you're looking to buy like early boots. Because a lot of Kindred players also like Boots Rush, so they literally rush Zerks, like Berserker Greaves first item and this kind of thing, which is also really strong. So obviously, if that's the case, you can't really run magical footwear. But yeah, I'd say like, again, this is pretty standard, and keep in mind these 2 are always interchangeable, these 3 are interchangeable, and you have kind of this. And then when it comes to runes, always attack speed, always like adaptive force, and then either like MR or armor, depending on what you're versing. It's kind of a crash course in all Kindred runes.
That's awesome. Thank you for that.
No, you're very welcome. There's, I guess there's one other thing that I've seen being run sometimes. It's very different, but it's quite funny. Like approach velocity can be really nice with red buff slow, your E slow, and in general it's kind of cheesier. But it used to be like really good last year, but now Cosmic Insight is just too broken to not run. So this is like a funny option that actually like has some value, but Cosmic Insight is just so ridiculously broken that there's just never a point to not run it. Honestly speaking.
So do you run Inspiration very often then?
Mm-hmm. I run Inspiration like very often. It's just because like it's the most standard, consistent thing. But again, Domination Resolve is good. If I was playing in like super low elo, I'd probably just run like Domination, like to just like stack my hunters. But that's because I'm a lot better than the players at low elo, so I can get those stacks very easily. And I can just go like 20 kills and win the game in like 5 minutes. Like that's the difference.
Fair. I mean,
Inspiration is really good as well.
I feel like because when I played Gold 4, it's always fighting, so it gets pretty easy to stack Domination, especially when Ravenous Hunter is healing like at the end of games like 5,000, almost 10,000 HP.
I think usually Ravenous Hunter would be healing like 3 to like 5k maybe in like a 30-minute game. I think anything more than that seems a bit excessive. But it also depends, like the value you get out of getting like an earlier red smite from Cosmic Insight is ridiculous. The gold saved for going magical footwear is really, really nice. Like also the more movement speed is also really nice too. Like having earlier breakpoints of like your Noon Quiver and stuff like this with Futures Market is crazy broken. Resolve to like survive the early game is really nuts. Like if you watch that Kha'Zix VOD, you'll see how insane like Kha'Zix can't even do anything. Even though Kha'Zix is like thought of as the best matchup into it. If you look at that Kindred VOD, it is pinned in the jungle chat. So for you guys watching this replay at home, you guys can look at the jungle VOD there. Yeah, I mean it's good. I'd say like Domination, honestly, it feels like the worst to me, generally speaking. I was always an Inspiration and then Resolve in those situations, but Domination is definitely an option. But I always prefer to not run it on most champs.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, awesome.
Because I was like, I was like, I'm used to the runes, and I usually switch them around a lot, but I usually keep secondary in Domination, so that's a little bit of surprise to me.
Yeah, it's definitely preference. So here we are. We'll go into your VOD, segue straight into your Kindred VOD. Did you run PTA this game? Yeah, PDA is a fine option in this game. It just depends because you want to look at their team and look at your team and kind of look at whether or not you think Kane is going to go blue Kane or red Kane, and how you want to play the game.
Yeah.
This is
How
a
does inspiration compare to like sorcery, like taking Gathering Storm and Absolute Focus, or even Nimbus Cloak?
Yeah, so if you're taking double scaling on secondaries of like sorcery, honestly, like it's kind of Chad, but it's kind of an ultra luxury. It's like a win more situation, I think. Running double sorcery, like you have very strong early gamers Kindred. So what inspiration allows you to do is having the shorter smite cooldown allows you to be able to like be more oppressive with your invades. It's going to allow you to not have to worry about spending gold on boots early game instead of having to focus on damage items. So I think it helps you in your early game a lot, and it's just pure efficiency. Whereas sorcery is kind of like I used to run Nimbus Cloak in some games, but it just feels really lackluster when they changed Nimbus Cloak to scale on like summoner movement speed, summoner cooldowns, like the longer cooldown summoner, the more value you get out of Nimbus. Obviously, Smite is one of the shortest summoner, so you get the least value out of Smite plus Nimbus. So I think Nimbus is a pretty terrible rune to run as a secondary on jungle. The only champion I can think of that you'd run it on a secondary on is Volibear. You got on like Press the Attack and Nimbus Cloak. But on Kindred, I don't really like it. Nah, they kind of nerfed it a lot. Yeah, again, if you're gonna run it,
I know you've recommended it to me a couple times, but like, why specifically Volley?
I mean, look at Volibear's kit. Like, he has no gap closer. I wouldn't consider his R as a gap closer as such. Obviously, it does the job, but it's not like consistent gap closer. You're going to be running at someone when you Q and you smite them and you get the movement speed, so you close the gap a lot faster with your Q speed plus the smite. Like, that's why Volibear is, because it's you physically need it to get onto people.
I feel like there's another champion that works well with Nimbus Cloak, and that's like Lilia. Lilia's pretty good at it too.
I think just pointless on Lilia, to be honest. Like, unless you're running Phaedrus on Lilia, which you shouldn't be doing, it's pointless. Like, you have your move speed already. Like, you don't need Nimbus Cloak for move speed. You literally stack your move speed 3 or 4, like on your passive 5, and you just like zoom. You don't need Nimbus.
Fair enough.
It's very pointless.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so we have the scam. You got PTA, so you have a very strong early game with PTA. You have really strong lanes, honestly. You have Set, who's disgustingly strong early game, and you have an Electrocute Ignite Vex, so who's very, very strong early game as well. So you have beautiful lanes to work with.
We had like the biggest. I will say this: my biggest mistake probably was taking because PTA was a decent option, but I think Conqueror would have been better here, considering the fact that Kiana was going to build Gore Drinker this game.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know that.
I didn't know that, but
so you had no idea. I think both options are fine. I think it's just what you use. Like, I think if you took PTA this game, you can make your early game incredibly aggressive. You can play aggressive. Yeah. You can go for kills.
I try. At least I think I tried to be aggressive. At least as far as I can tell. Like, we'll see.
Yo, why not? Isn't it weird that Kane's going red Kane here, Conqueror?
I mean, it's not locked into red Kane. He can go Conqueror.
So
but, he can go blue. Personally, I would go full lethality and just play to blast the enemy team.
Yeah.
It's also the difference is like I guess, like Kane and Kiana. Like I mean, it depends. It's low, so you can't really guarantee. If I'm Kane here, Conqueror gives him a stronger early game into Kindred. But you should just lose regardless. So
I thought. So what I did think that he was going to go red Kane too, but he does go blue this game.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes like purple Kane or whatever.
Yeah, he's going the purple Kane stuff, which actually worked out really well for him because it worked really well with Kiana in the mid lane. That was
so we'll have a look at this real quickly. So you go for you just ward your own blue buff. Is this like a consistent thing you do? Just every game you just
I usually cheese a ward. Like this game, I used it on my buff specifically because I was like, I don't know if Kane's gonna try and invade early, so like take the buff before I can get there. So I was just like, I'm just gonna ward it early, make sure that he doesn't steal it. I don't know if there's a better ward to put down for that situation. There probably is, but
I mean, it's more just like you want to look at your early game aggression.
Yeah,
like you want to look at your early game aggression. Want to look at what you can do. So against this Kane, you got PTA, so you're even stronger early. Like you got disgustingly strong early game damage. You can do some really, really nice things. Like you have stronger lanes in like every single lane except for like mid lane. You don't have a stronger lane in as such, but you still have very strong 2v2. You can just absolutely chad this. You can just like you can go this game. I want to see you go red buff into his like blue. I want to see you go red blue. If he starts his blue buff, you should evade him on his gromp. Like you can absolutely adopt him this game with your aggressive pathing. But I'm
what I should have I mean, yeah, I should have done that too. I should have done
Cool.
that.
You do this, and then you go blue buff. Cool. I want to see you go blue buff into his red buff here. He hasn't even done his
I
red
should
buff yet.
have. I should
Yep.
have gone into his red buff. I should have. I think I do
Okay,
invade.
you do.
Yeah, I do.
You do go here in the
I
end.
do
Cool.
invade.
Do this wall. Okay, pop sweeper already. You didn't pop sweeper, so you should pop sweeper
I
through
should
here.
have. Yeah.
This way, you can see him. Like, if you, I don't know if you remember in the game that I just played, I literally just played. We'll look at this. Like, when I do go for the invade on Jarvan, first of all, I go for like different camps than you do. I
Right.
go red chicken's gromp, and if you look at how I invade this, I'm invading through my mid, so I'm not going to queue over that wall. Because the thing is, if I queue over that wall and Jarvan's pulled it to the bush, he needs to see me immediately. Whereas right here, if you look at this, I sight the chickens. So I sight the corner of chickens, because this tells me everything. If he's not on chickens now, he's probably nearly done red buff.
Right.
But right here, I sight chickens, like I say. I know that he's taken his chickens, so I say, okay, he's on red buff now. So I say that in the call. So if I had sweep, I'd sweep now. But again, coming from this angle is a lot better than coming from here. Because if he's here, he doesn't actually see me until I'm physically like here.
Ah,
But
I see
this
now.
now. See how I'm A-clicking. I'm spamming A-click as well. When I go through the bush here.
It's just so like when you if you immediately see him, you just instantly start getting on him. Got it.
Yeah, so look at this. Like I'm right there. I'm A-clicking. I'm opening my A and I'm clicking like this.
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
pinging from mid laner. Here you go. So I see this here. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to go when this is like 600, not when it's like 500. Yeah, the thing is that I'm going to create like uncertainty because he doesn't know if he wants to commit in or he wants to like try and like move out and because he takes damage from me. So if you watch this, I go a bit earlier because now he can't burst this down. If he like Q auto attacks this, it's still not in range. So he has to choose if he wants to auto this once more or like commit to running away. So if he commits to running away, obviously the camp's going to reset. So I want to auto attack this to pull it over. And now I kind of just chat it with a Q auto smite. So if you see that's like a perfect smite, so he can't even contest that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of that's what I did there. So if you look at how you did it, you've given this cannon too much time to like react. You have no Q cooldown here. Cool. W, E, auto. This is good. This is still fine. You don't want to chase him here. You can't chase him here. There's no kill option. You want to hit this, so then he has to come around and try and contest you, or he has to give it.
Yeah.
The moment you chase this in, you've lost. Like you haven't lost. Like one of the way you've lost is like I don't know. You'll see if he's any good. Maybe he's not good. Oh, looks like you forced his flash. You die here. Like Kiana just killed. Okay, this Kiana's bad. You die. You should instantly die.
I should have died there. Yes, I should have. There's no way I should have lived. We actually, I think we kill her too. In this situation, but it's luck.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's luck. It's totally luck. There's no way that we should have. That. Oh, actually, I think the count lives here. Yeah, she does. But yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, you should just walk here and queue this wall. So you should be walking and hugging this wall, and then queue up this to get like more distance, because she always lives, unless you do that.
You're right.
Anyway.
Yeah. What I could, yeah, but I should have just gone and gotten the red buff in the first place. But yes,
That's okay.
fair enough. I'm just holding the lane because I feel like she's gonna do something stupid like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what you're doing. Like, this is fine to push this wave. Let's have a look at this wave. So, we want to look at the wave state here. Oh my god, wait. Yeah, wave state here. So, if you leave it alone now, it's honestly hard to tell, but it should push into her slowly. But you want to play for your marks. You need to play for top crab, and you have bot priors. You can play for double crab here if you want to. You should,
Yeah.
Like, spending time laning mid lane here is terrible. Like, this Kayn is happy. Like, you're just being sighted on minions the whole time. Okay.
Right.
Looks like you get this mark. And again, you didn't even end up getting his red buff. So yeah, you're just out here. Okay, you should turn and kill him here. Vix is back in lane.
Yep.
And Kiana turns around now, so now you should just Q at him.
Yeah, you're right. Because Kiana didn't back yet, so she should still be low.
Yeah, she's low, she's weak, you're honestly strong, like, level 4, so now you're spending way too much time. And the fact that you even pathed to your wolves here, it's good you changed. I'm really happy you changed.
Yeah.
Cool. So you should take this, but you shouldn't take the whole thing. You should take the shield away. Take the shield away, walk here, hit this, and try and like Chad this Gromp, and try and Chad this. Oh, it hasn't spawned. Oh, it has spawned yet. It would have spawned. You want to try and Chad this Gromp, because you want to wait for this to mark. So maybe this ends up marking, because you use this mid lane, but you should get 2 marks here.
You're right.
You shouldn't burst because if you burst this, nice. Okay, good. It did remark. But I
It
would have
did
taken
remark,
it
but
and chatted there because to get the guarantee the remark. Because it could have
yeah,
marked.
because that was a luck thing again. Again, it's just like the Kiana